Shalom, more praise to How about Shemel Shah, double line to the Apostle GMS. This is I'm Noah Allah coming at you with a video. In this video, we'll be focusing on the book of 1 Maccabees 1-7. So, this is basically going to how long did Alexander reign. So, I'm going to jump right down to that point. So, this is book of 1 Maccabees 1-7. If I'm starting from verse 1. And it happened. After that, Alexander, son of Philip, told my Philip II of Macedon, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, which is talking about the island of Cyprus. When you look up Shittim, or Kittim, Kittim, has smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. Then he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. Now all of that goes into other aspects of history, but I'm not dealing with that now. Verse 7, the point. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So let's see exactly how long did Alexander reign. Did he literally reign 12 years? Let's give a timeline. It's going to be real brief. This is Alexander the Great on Wikipedia. Alexander III of Macedon. July 356 BC to the 20th or the 21st. To June 10th or 11th, 323 BC. Commonly known as Alexander the Great, was a king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon. Okay? A member of the Argead dynasty. He was born in Pella, a city in ancient Greece, in 356 BC. He succeeded his father Philip to the throne at the age of 20 and spent most of his ruling years conducting a lengthy military campaign throughout Western Asia and Northeastern Africa. Okay, so he succeeded his throne. He succeeded his father, King Philip II. Let's see exactly when he succeeded his father, because it doesn't really tell us when. It doesn't give us an exact month. We just know he reigned from 336 BC to 323. So we know it's 333. I'm sorry, 336 BC. What happened that year? Let's go to Philip II of Macedon so we can find out more, so we could pinpoint exactly when he began to reign. It says Philip II of Macedon, 382. So it just gives you that year, 382 BC when he was born. And it says 21st of October 336 BC was the king Basilius, which means like emperor of the kingdom of Macedon from 359 BC until his assassination in 336 BC. He was a member of the Argead dynasty, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, of Macedonian kings, the third son of King Amyntas III of Macedon, and father of Alexander the Great and Philip III. So let's see, let's go into his history a little bit. Right here, assassination. Alright. It says King Philip was assassinated in October 336 BC at Aigi. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. The ancient capital of the kingdom of Macedon. Like Aigi, I believe it should be AG, because you got a C called the Aegean Sea or Aegean Sea. Philip and his royal court were gathered in order to celebrate the marriage of Alexander I of Epirus and Cleopatra of Macedon, Philip's daughter, by his fourth wife Olympias. While the king was entering into the town's theater, he was unprotected in order to appear approachable to the Greek diplomats and dignitaries who were present at that time. Philip was suddenly approached by Pausanias of Orestis, one of his 7 bodyguards, and was stabbed in his ribs. After Philip was killed, the assassin then immediately tried to escape and reach his getaway associates, who were waiting for him with horses at the entrance of Aigi. The assassin was pursued by 3 of Philip's other bodyguards, and during the chase he accidentally tripped on a vine. He was subsequently stabbed to death by the bodyguard. So we know that he was assassinated October 336 BC. But did Alexander begin to reign in October? Let's see. Now, if you go ahead to history.com, it says October 23rd, 2020. It says that Alexander the Great arranged his father's murder, which history says Alexander was in on it. But if you read right here, Philip II of Macedon's bodyguard and former lover wielded the knife, because these Greeks are all into that alternative lifestyle, if you will. But 21-year-old Alexander, heir to the powerful king, quickly fell under suspicion. Wait a minute, hold on. It said 21-year-old. Well, we know that that's not true. He couldn't have been 21 because Alexander was born. Let's go back. He was born when? July 356 BC. He began to reign when? 336 BC. You see right here on the bottom of your screen. He began to reign 336 BC and he was born July 356 BC, which means he was 20. So when the History Channel said he was 21, they went off. And how do I know they went off? Through the Spirit? Check this out. Check this out. This is from History Channel, but it says updated November 24th, 2020. Original November 9th, 2009. So this original page right here about Alexander, it was originally on November 9th, 2009, but they updated November 24th, 2020. See, November 24th, 2020 was updated. And his last picture just read October 23rd, 2020. So they updated it. In other words, they must have had another article about Alexander and realized they went off on something. And they had to update the page to correct themselves. And how else we know that? Because when you come back here and you go to the section that says Alexander becomes king, Alexander becomes king in 336 BC. Alexander's father Philip was assassinated by his bodyguard Pausanias. Just 20 years old, Alexander claimed the Macedonian throne and killed his rivals before they could challenge his sovereignty. See that? So they corrected themselves and put he was 20 years old because he was 356 BC to 336 BC. That's 20 years old. That's easy. That's simple math. So we know that he was 20 years old when he began to reign. But how long did he reign exactly? He reigned exactly 12 years and 8 months because he took the rulership when his father was assassinated. When his father was assassinated in October, Alexander took the rulership of Macedon in October 336 BC. But when did Alexander die? He died when? June 323 BC. You see on the bottom of the screen. So when you do the math, he actually reigned 12 years and 8 months because October to June is how many months? November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. That's 8 months. So if you go from October 336 BC to 335, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25 to 24. That's 12 years. To October 323, that'll be 13 years. But he died June. So you go back from October to September to August to July to June. You go back 4 months. What's 4 months? If you subtract 4 months from a year with the 12 months, what does that give you? 8 months. He reigned for exactly 12 years and 8 months. But the scripture said he reigned 12 years and died. Does it mean the scripture is going off? No. The scripture just rounded it off. Let's give you a quick example of that real quick. When you go to the book of 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 4, it says, David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. Right? He reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years. And in Jerusalem he reigned 30 and 3 years over all Israel and Judah. So he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned 33 years, 30 and 3 years over all Israel and Judah. So 33 plus 7 years 6 months equals what? 40 years 6 months. And just said 40 years previously. Let's go to this verse. So he reigned 33 years over Israel and Judah, and he reigned 7 years and 6 months over Judah. So 33 years plus 7 years and 6 months, he was 40 years, 6 months. Let's go here. 2 Kings 2 and 11. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. 7 years reigned he in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. That's 40. And she didn't mention the months part. Last, we just went to the 2 Samuel 5. It said he reigned 33 years, and then it said 7 years, 6 months. That's 40 years, 6 months. But this scripture just saying he reigned 40 years, 7 in Hebron, and 33 over Jerusalem, which was 40. The scripture just rounded it off. You know, I really didn't get into anything deep on this show. When you go in more into history, it tells you Alexander started to rule right on the spot. He immediately took the throne, you know. But that's why I said when his father was assassinated, he was proclaimed king of Macedon. And when you go deep into the history, that's the truth. That's what he did, as we read in the show. And if you look it up, and even if you type it in, you may be able to find it. Alexander, 12 years, 8 months. Reign 12 years, 8 months. Don't be intellectually lazy. Don't be spiritually lazy. You watch a show and it's new information you come across, type stuff in that the person is talking about in the lesson to see if they're on point. So with that, I'm going to close. This is going to be a little quick show just to give brothers an idea, because, you know, somebody would say, well, Alexander really didn't reign 12 years. He really reigned for so-and-so. You know, the scripture just rounded it off. That's all that it did. So that I'm going to close. I'm still praise to Yahweh Shah, Deadlines, Positive GMS. I hope you brothers learned something. Shalom.